Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from, everybody. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. Going to get started with the live stream market update, and we'll jump into some ticker requests. Going to make today's live stream public as well. Before we get to it, though, make sure to smash like, help support me in the channel, and we'll give it another 30 seconds or so before we get started. All right, going to get started with the live stream. I see we have quite a few people joining us. Welcome, welcome. Today is Monday. It's a new week, a new month. Hope you had a great weekend. It is October 3rd. And going to go over the market. We'll do a quick update, and then I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the market, the state of the market, how we did today, how we fared out today, and what to expect in the days and weeks ahead. If you have any ticker requests, make sure to place them inside of the chat, and I'll get to the Power Group YouTube. Before I get to the YouTube ticker requests, I'll get to the POW private members, as we did have some requests in there. And let's go. If you could smash like, help support me in the channel. Again, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. I made a couple of posts over the last couple of days, and also wanted to highlight a free giveaway alert. So one gold membership to the Power Group community. It's valued at about $149, and the giveaway will take place 1 week from today on Thanksgiving in Canada, so October 10th. And all you have to do is click the following link. So there's a link, URL, a previous YouTube video. It's an interview that I did with Alexandre Boyer, owner of Analyse Cannabis. And I would highly encourage you to check that out as well if you haven't seen this video already. It was very informative, but essentially just go on there and drop a comment, and you'll be entered for a chance to win. It's not actually on the comments. I've seen a couple of people actually commented on this, but it's not the actual comments of this post. The giveaway only works on videos, so you can't do a random comment picker on a post. So if you just go here, click on that YouTube link, and drop a comment on that interview with Alexandre Boyer, and that'll give you an entry into that. And like I said, I'll be picking a winner on Monday, and it'll just be a random comment. So any comments, and if you comment more than once, it's not going to factor that in. So don't try to game the system, because it won't matter if you comment multiple times. Also, excuse me, had to clear my throat there. Still getting over this flu, but pretty much I think 95% back to normal. If you are tuning into the live stream as well, let us know where you're tuning in from. But essentially, I did another post as well. This was an interesting chart that I was working on over the weekend, and I was taking a look at XRP. Strikingly similar action compared to Bitcoin's all-time history index, and I've overlaid Bitcoin's movement as well. You can see these blue bars, and that's over the historical chart for XRP. And I said, by this logic, we could expect alt season for this year to begin sometime around November, December. I did a video saying when alt season, and I had anticipated sometime in September, October, based on, you can check out that video that I did. But essentially, I think it's been pushed back because of the fact that we're seeing geopolitical tensions with Russia and Ukraine. We're seeing those tensions continue to worsen and to escalate. And also, I think that because the bottom of the stock market has yet to be found, I think that we could see into the midterm elections, we could see around 330s on SPY, which would be a previous all-time high before the C19 dump. And I think that that has to happen before alt season. So I think that this lines up relatively well. I think my prediction of alt season happening in October, it could happen this month where we start to bottom out and we start to trend higher. But I'm of the thinking now that it's probably going to be delayed by a couple of months, likely into November, December, into the end of the year. And that would bode well for a stock rally as well. We could see a Santa Claus rally into the end of the year. But by November, December, I'm expecting alt season to ramp up. We see Bitcoin set a bottom, the S&P 500 set a bottom. And then when that bottom is set, Bitcoin will likely see a huge move up. And then on its retracement, on a pullback after a big move on Bitcoin, that's when we should, in theory, see alt season. And we could even see a Bitcoin ETF approved in short order. There's a lot of catalysts. You can check out that video about alt season in September, October that I just did not too long ago. But we could ultimately see $5 to $7 XRP sometime around and peaking in March of April 2023. So maybe this case does go to trial and we see Ripple win. John Deaton, who's a Crypto Law. He's the founder of Crypto Law. You can check out his channel, but essentially he's a lawyer, and he said that the latest that he would anticipate this case to end is around April, May 2023, which lines up with that logic as well. Also $28 XRP sometime around December 2023 or February 2024. And then ultimately it's saying we could hit about $100 by 2029. And again, this could happen a lot quicker, it could happen a lot slower, but essentially the longer the base, the higher in space, and this thing has been basing out for a while now. And like I said, just take a look at this strikingly similar action. You can see here we consolidated, we're coming back up again, didn't follow it exactly down to the second, the day, the minute, but overall this trend was the same. We kind of formed a base here. Bitcoin shot up a lot more, but again, XRP is sort of manipulated and being hindered by the powers that be, right? So Bitcoin was kind of given free reign to just do whatever it wants, but it looks like XRP was being manipulated a lot more, but essentially we just followed that same move. We finally blasted back up, we consolidated briefly, we flagged, and then we formed another leg up, and then we just formed that base again from 2017, 2018. And then Bitcoin went off to do an insane run up to about 70K. And this is what we're potentially seeing here, is this massive run here that we could see on XRP. And like I said, take us up to that $5 to $7. A lot of people are speculating that we could see $11 XRP by the end of this cycle, which is also possible because if we take a look at the chart here for, let's just take a look at, I know I got a lot going on, but just watch the fib levels here. I'll bring up Bitcoin actually because I'll show you. So we hit the 3.618, which is at 62,000, or sorry, 3.618 is at 62,000. Yep. So we hit that. We actually exceeded it on our fib extensions, and then Ethereum did the same as well this cycle. So if we bring up the Ethereum chart, you can see here it hit its 3.618 there at 4,800. So if Ethereum did it and Bitcoin did it, why can't XRP? You know, we know that XRP passed Ethereum in terms of market cap in 2018. So, and under a lawsuit right now with the SEC, still in the top 10. I don't know too many other assets that could do that. But essentially, if we just do what Bitcoin and Ethereum did in this cycle, we could see a $10, $11 XRP by that logic. So again, I think that we're going to see a huge move here into the end of the year. Of course, things change, and that's why we do these videos, is to keep everybody up to date and take the data in as much as possible. But like I said, eerily similar chart there on XRP. Also became a super host today on Airbnb, so pretty excited about that. But you can see here they sent me an email. Congrats, hard work pays off, essentially. And then also one thing I wanted to mention, I was at the Raptors game yesterday. Absolutely fantastic. Raptors played the Jazz, and Raptors just dominated them. But Edmonton's been popping lately. It's been pretty awesome to live in the city and starting to see the economy starting to kind of shift and go the other way now. It's been in a brutal bear market, you could say. Here, you know, the economy ever since the oil boom peaked about 15 years ago, it's been really hard on the economy, and we're finally starting to see things kind of turn the page here now. But really excited. But also wanted to share this article. So a TrueLeave worker died, and thoughts and prayers go out to that person and their family. But essentially, they were inhaling ground MJ dust. So, you know, this is something that we actually had a PowBot algo sell alert go off on TrueLeave as well. And this is something that I've been saying for a while. It's not all about profits and, you know, whether or not a company is profitable or non-profitable. We also have to factor in the fact that the whole sector moves together, right? There's correlations. Looks like we're seeing a decent move here on crypto at the moment here as well. But yeah, there's, you know, the industry is still nascent. There's still a lot of kinks and things to figure out, and obviously these, you know, quality control, quality assurance, and safety measures, things like that. You know, it doesn't matter if the company's the most profitable, if they're neglecting you know, safety measures and things like that. That's a big problem, right? So I did add TrueLeave. I think it was last week, the first time I've ever bought that stock. My plan is to scale in, so I'm looking to potentially add another entry around $10. Like I said, we had a PowBot algo sell alert go off on Friday, so it's looking like we could see more downside on TrueLeave, especially in light of that in light of that news. So I have another buy order at $10 and another one at $8. And as we know, all MJ is essentially testing all-time lows, if not setting new all-time lows. So that could be in the cards here soon for TrueLeave as well. So don't be surprised if we drop to the $10 to $8 mark on TrueLeave. And also the headwinds from the broader market. If we see another leg down on SPY and we target that 330 area, which I'm targeting, that would obviously be a lot of weakness and headwinds for MJ as well, right? So adding confluence to that that thesis. But at the moment, crypto is in a 15-minute uptrend. You can see here we're breaking to 15-minute higher highs. If we take a look at the monthly close on Bitcoin, it was kind of muted. A bit of an indecision candle there, but it's a monthly inside bar. So if we break resistance at 22,800, we start the monthly bounce. And if we lose support at 18,153, we break the inside bar bearish. And then we look at support there at the low of 17,500. If we lose 17,500, ultimately I think we're targeting 13K, which is the 0.618 retracement, and on the fib levels, and also the target of the monthly head and shoulders. But currently on the week, we are green in this weekly inside bar as well. So we've got a tightening range and likely going to be a pretty big move when we do break this. It was a daily inside bar as well, so very, very tight, and it's breaking bullish. We could see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross as well. I'm of the thinking that we could see a bit of a relief rally here on crypto and the S&P 500, but ultimately still be bearish into the next 8 to 9 weeks. I do think that we're going to see one more potential leg down. Like I said, test this old previous all-time high around 325 on SPY. It was 330, but again, this factors in all these dividends you can see here, so it does skew the numbers a little bit. The previous all-time high, I believe, was, let's bring up SPX. I think it was 330. Yeah, it was 339. 339. So, yeah, we could be heading there. If we take a look at SPX, from current levels, that would bring us down about another 8%. So not completely out of the question, in my opinion. We did have a really bearish close, though, on the monthly candle. We closed right at the low of the month last month. Pretty ugly candle. In terms of the weekly candle, we closed right at the low of the week as well, and the low of the day. So a very, very weak close and bearish close on the S&P 500 on all time frames pretty much last week and last month. So it's not looking good. We could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross as well of these EMAs, again adding confluence that we could see more downside and another leg down on the S&P 500 and target those 330 areas, the 325 area, maybe even as low as 300 depending on how nasty things get. But like I said, I'm expecting a bottom to be set at some point over the next few weeks leading into the midterms, maybe a week or two before the midterm elections in the US, and then we get a positive outcome to the FOMC rate decision. But if we just look at the weekly chart here, we've been following this .com fractal to perfection. I did a video on that as well. I won't dive into it too much at this point because I don't want to regurgitate everything that I said. But by this logic, it's saying that we could see a bottom at some point into the end of October here, and then see one more leg down, and then a pretty big relief rally into the end of the year, into November, December. Again, adding more confluence to the fact that we could see that alt season and one more big push up in the broader market, in the stock market, into the end of the year. But ultimately, over the next couple of years, we're probably going to be targeting the low 200s on the S&P 500 in this brutal bear market. Like I said, it's the first time that we confirmed a monthly downtrend since 2008 financial crisis. So since the bottom here, we've been in a bull market essentially for 5,000 days, right? So it's been a long time coming. We know that we're likely due for a pretty nasty pullback. Since the 2008 financial crisis, I think this is probably going to be one of the most brutal, if not the worst, bear market and drawdown on the S&P 500. Again, we had 10 years worth of gains in 2 years. The average annual return of the S&P 500 is about 12% a year. We had 120% in 2 years. So essentially 10 years worth of gains condensed into 2 years. We need to expect a massive drop down. And just like TrueLeave did, just like MSOS, but TrueLeave is a really good example. From the lows of March 2020, we had no support on the monthly for a whole year. We didn't consolidate for one whole year. So again, the longer and the higher the move, with no support, you need to expect a pretty intense move to the downside as well, right? When we don't establish that support, that's cause for concern, right? And then we gave the whole move back on TrueLeave and just following the rest of the sector. So SPY not looking good, but today, like I said, just due for a bit of a relief rally. On the weekly time frame, we have no resistance up until about 410. So we could continue to see this move higher. We are starting the daily bounce today. So we'll want to see the high of today break tomorrow to continue the daily bounce at 368.55. So that's the most important resistance going forward. The high of the day today, if we continue that, we start the daily bounce for the second day in a row. And then next resistance is 372.30, and then a lack all the way up to about 389. But we are coming off daily oversold. So just a little bit of a relief rally here, and cooling off that RSI, but still very, very weak in terms of the daily time frame. We do have a bit of a daily inverse head and shoulders forming here as well, so that'll be something to keep an eye out, whether or not we form that right shoulder and see that's a bullish reversal a bullish reversal pattern. So we'll see how that develops over the next couple of days. But taking a look at the dollar is very important as well. We're starting to see some weakness finally on the dollar, but not really worried about the day-to-day action. More so concerned about the weekly time frame. And we do have a reversal candle here on last week's candle, and we are starting weekly consolidation, having lost last week's low. So 111.57 was support. We hit 111.47. So just seeing a brief consolidation period here now. But the most important thing for me is the weekly uptrend and monthly consolidation. If we lose the weekly uptrend with a loss of 107.68, if we lose that support, we lose the weekly uptrend. Or if we confirm a weekly downtrend with a lower high and a lower low, that would be obviously something to be very concerned about. Well, if you're bullish on the dollar, that is. But if you're bearish on the dollar, like a lot of people would like to be, right? Because if we see the dollar start to break down, that's going to be good for stocks and crypto. But the most important thing for me is the monthly chart. Still haven't consolidated now in 9 months. So again, just like Truly, going on almost a full year without any monthly consolidation. And we did see a bit of a upper wick there last month, so we could start to see a reversal coming in here soon. So it'll be all about that 107.68. If we lose that support level, we start monthly consolidation for the first time in about 9 months. We had a brief consolidation here, but we'll just ignore that because it was only by about a few pennies. So next time we start to break the low of the previous monthly candle, that's going to bode well for stocks and crypto. And then we could easily target that 104 to 100 area, which would back test those EMAs. And what do we know about the EMAs? We get above them, we come back and we test it as support. We get below them, we come back, we test it as resistance. But we ebb and flow, and we always retract, or we always come back to those EMAs. So we're getting pretty extended here to the upside. We're getting pretty far away. If you take a look at how far we were away, we were about almost 10% away from that first EMA 12. So one would think that over the next month or two, we're going to see a pullback to at least that EMA 12 there, and just come back and ebb and flow to those moving averages. And again, that lines up well with my thesis that we could see another stock rally and a crypto move in the alt season into the next couple of months into the end of the year, because of the fact that the dollar is looking like it's starting to see some momentum shifting to the downside. All right, taking a look at the rest of the market here real quick. So I know we had a ticker request from Power Group member, it was Rashid. Yep, Rashid wants to take a look at FVI. Sure, no problem. We'll take a look at this here real quick, and then we'll look at the rest of the market. So in terms of the weekly chart, we're looking really good here. We're starting the weekly bounce for the second week in a row, having broken resistance of last week. So breaking the high of last week, continuing the weekly bounce for the second week in a row. We broke the weekly downtrend with a break of the lower high and lower low pattern, but we still haven't confirmed a weekly uptrend yet. So when we do top out here, we got a ton of room to form a weekly higher low and then a higher high. So we want to see a weekly uptrend, and then once we confirm the weekly uptrend, then we can look for a monthly trend change as well. And the monthly bounce is now underway, having started a new month. Once we broke resistance at 351, that started the monthly bounce, but we're still in a monthly downtrend with lower highs and lower lows. Anything under $6 is just a monthly lower high. And then, like I said, once we top out on the weekly, form a weekly higher low, if we change the weekly trend, confirm an uptrend on that time frame, then we look for a higher low and a higher high on the monthly time frame. And then that will give us a lot of confidence that the bottom is in and that we're potentially seeing a huge move up, maybe back to around that $10 area. So not a bad entry here. If you are looking for some entries, monthly bounce underway. But in terms of the daily time frame, we are extended. So we almost hit daily overbought today. We are seeing increasing bull volume, which looks great. We had a bull cross of those EMAs, the 12 crossing below up through the 26, which is referred to as a bull cross. But we are extended, right? We have no support. We have a 31% move with no support. We are seeing that increasing bull volume. Watch for a potential climax over the next day or two, volume climax. But I would, if you're looking for some entries, you might want to just wait for the daily RSI to cool down a little bit and see I'd probably wait for hourly oversold conditions at this point. So that'd be a good area to target. We're heavily overbought in terms of the hourly RSI. So maybe try to get it closer to hourly oversold if you're looking for entries on this one, and then that would be somewhere around, we would expect a daily higher low as well, somewhere around that 325 area. So definitely running hot the last week or so. So I would, I'd wait on any entries if you're not already in it. But we do have some key resistance coming up at 386 as well. After 386, we have a lack of resistance up until about 415. But it's looking good. One of the stronger charts for sure Fortuna, silver mines, and if we take a look at the weekly time frame, we had a weekly candle close over the 10-week moving average last week, and the MACD and stochastic are extremely bullish, going parabolic as well. So we're looking really, really good here in terms of the weekly time frame. This is probably one of the strongest weekly charts I've looked at in a while. Some crypto charts that are really strong as well, like for example XRP, very, very similar. We're getting a close over the 10-week moving average now for multiple weeks, and look at the stochastic and the MACD, very bullish as well. XLM's another one that's really strong on the weekly time frame, trying to find a form of basic support there off that 10-week moving average. But FEI here, we have the 50 weekly moving average there at 431 as well, so that'll be a strong area of resistance. I wouldn't expect we would get over that here this week or next week without at least forming a daily higher low. And then in terms of the daily moving averages, we did get above the 50-day moving average, which was resistance for many weeks. And then here we are we had a candle close over the 100 there at 362 as well. So we do have the 200-day moving average there around 421. So I would expect temporary top to be set somewhere around that 415 to 430 area. We have a lot of resistance in that area. So if you're looking for a potential short opportunity, that'd be a good level to go short on. But like I said, if you're looking for some entries, I'd at least wait for hourly oversold or a daily higher low. And if you're swing trading this, may not be a bad idea to take some profits now and then look to sell some closer to $4 and maybe closer to 415 as well. You can start to scale out a little bit and then look to reload cheaper. Again, all depends if you're in this for the long term, short term, are you swing trading, day trading, investing, all gonna factor into your overall game plan, right? All right, if anybody does have any other ticker requests, now would be the time to drop them in the chat. But we'll take a look at some individual names here. So on the day, Tesla was the leading bear on the day today. Wow, yeah, so there was some concerns with Tesla. I'm just checking the Power Group community. There was some news out. Let me just see here, Tesla. So I think there was some supply concerns. Let's see here. Tesla slides on worrying delivery and production gap, demand worries. Yeah, so taking it on the chin today. Massive drop there in terms of the daily time frame. We're daily oversold. Monthly consolidation underway for the second month in a row, and we are in a monthly downtrend here with a lower high and lower low. Anything under 384 is just a monthly lower high. So we would anticipate another drop down because we're in a monthly downtrend. So key support is going to be 206 on Tesla. Might not be a bad entry here, folks, if we know that the dollar is likely due to cool off, if we know that we could see a rally into the end of the year here with crypto and stocks. Might be a pretty good trade here if you're looking to see just a short trade, maybe a few weeks, few months swing trade, and you could set your stop below 200. So essentially from current levels, you're risking about 15% to see upwards of 30 to maybe even 60% if we go back to all-time highs here before we could even see a blow-off top moment. If we do something that we need to be aware of as well is that Congress is still not banned from owning stocks. So watch for that to be a potential market catalyst. And what do we know about people in Congress and the Fed? They want to sell at high prices, right? They don't want, that's what the Fed did. The Fed sold back when the market was peaking. They banned themselves from owning stocks, so they were able to sell at the top and then not make it look bad, right? So that's probably what's going to happen as well. Congress was probably going to pass a bill that they can't own stocks if they're members of Congress, and we'll get a pretty big rally, right? Because the market's manipulated and they're all crooks, for lack of a better word. So they really should be put behind bars, some of these people. But hey, it's just the kind of the world we live in, right? So it is what it is. If you can't beat them, join them. It's a rigged game, it's an nasty game, and it's certainly not stacked in our favor, right? It's kind of like a casino. The odds are stacked against us. That's why I created a POW group, and I've done all of this research, and I continue to do research. It's a never-ending process, right? But like I said, not a bad entry. Even if you start to scale in now on Tesla, enter a little bit here, enter a little bit closer to 220, and then try to enter as close to that support at 200 as possible. But I would be setting a stop loss right below 200. We do have earnings as well coming up for October 19th, so that'll be something that could potentially send the stock higher or lower. Based on how much we've been pulling back, I would say that it's favoring a bullish reaction. But obviously volatility, and it's a gamble, no one really knows where we could go from there on Tesla. But Tesla, VEGA, and NEXE leading the decline today. On the bullish, we have SU, DDD, and Fubo. So we're starting to see energy stocks start to gain some traction. We had multiple daily inside bars here on SU, so that was a nice day trade here. Compressing, seeing that tightening range. So as soon as we broke resistance at 28.43, started the daily bounce, you could have entered there as a potential day trade, and that would have yielded about 8% of gains just on that tightening range breaking. But weekly bounce underway as well. Taking a look at the MJ space. So HMMJ still holding its weekly lows. And September was a brutal month for stocks, but we didn't really see that really do much to the price on MJ. MJ's, again, giving us a little bit of confidence that we could potentially be seeing a bottom here soon. If we take a look at September, so we did drop about 15%, but you know, all things considered, SPY, how much did SPY drop last month? From the high to the low, we dropped 13%, right? So generally when SPY drops 1%, we can expect, especially risky segments of the financial markets, to see a lot more drawdown, right? But the fact that we're down around the same as much as SPY is starting to tell me that we could potentially see a bottom being set soon. And like I said, if we get safe banking or uplisting to the NYSE, the Nasdaq, that would be the catalyst that's going to get us out of this bear market. I think that's the catalyst that we need. One of those two things. New York coming online in early 2023, and then Germany as well. So that'll be great for MJ. But again, I think that we need to see that safe banking pass, which I think it has a really good chance of doing so. On the bull and bear list, we had WIB, PCLO, and Oxley leading the decline today. Oxley trying to form a base right around that 4.5 cent mark. Again, not a bad entry on that one for the long term. Labs, NXTTF, and CGC leading the bull list today. So CGC is another monthly inside bar. So this would be another good trade as well. You could set your stop below the low here, say just below 250, and then look to see a monthly inside bar bull break. And it would be 2 monthly inside bars, so we could expect a pretty big move, likely up to around that EMA 12 there at around 660. If we do break it bullish, in my opinion. Because like I said, we usually ebb and flow back to these moving averages, and we got pretty far away. From the low there, we were about 200%, over 200% away from that. So great trade here, in my opinion, on CGC. If you set a stop below 250, if you wanted to allow a little bit more wiggle room, you could set it below $2. But essentially, you'd be risking about 30% to make upwards of 120 to 300%, right? That's some decent risk to reward. In terms of the US names, we'll just take a look at MSOS. So I made another entry on this one last week, and it's a weekly inside bar at the moment. So again, not a bad entry on this one either, with a stop below 870. You could essentially risk about 7 to 8% to make upwards, if we break this bullish, to make about 20 to 45% if we see a back test of those EMAs. And what did I say back here when we were in a weekly uptrend? That's great. We have some nice movement. We're in a weekly uptrend, but we've seen this movie before. I said, don't get too excited. We need to confirm the monthly uptrend. And then we broke to a monthly lower low. And this could be their bottom being set fairly soon, but we need to come down, form that higher low and higher high. Until we do that, the bear market is still very much intact, and we can't call it over or say that we're in a bull market until the monthly uptrend is confirmed. In terms of the bull and bears, we got Halo, LOWL, and TAUG on the decline. On the bull list, we had BAM, KHRN, and AYR. BAM, another great entry as well. May never see these low prices again on MJ. I know that's hard to believe and not what everybody really wants to hear, because they're just so sick and tired of prices being down. But you have to change your mindset, right? These prices, these absolutely absurd prices, aren't going to last forever. MJ isn't going anywhere. There's so much growth ahead of it. It's not even funny. It's still illegal in a lot of most important sectors or markets around the world, and it's only going to be legalized once. So take it for what it is. It's a buying opportunity and more time to accumulate. All right, jumping into the chat here. Also just seeing if we have any other ticker requests in the POW Group community. Nothing new in terms of news as well, but Larry, thanks for the question. What's the hype mean with Credit Suisse thing? Yeah, so Kevin O'Leary said that he thinks that the market is going to bottom until some major players go bankrupt. and Credit Suisse, and what was the other one? Credit Suisse and frig. Can't see here. Major banks failing. Credit Suisse and brain fart. I can't think of it for the life of me right now. Deutsche Bank. That's what it is. Yeah. So those. I mean, those are big. How much are they worth? Like Credit Suisse assets under management. So 1.5 trillion. BlackRock's got like 10 trillion under management. Deutsche Bank. I don't even know how to spell that. How much money does Deutsche Bank have in assets? 1.3 trillion. So yeah, that's not a small amount of money. That would definitely be a big player going bankrupt, and that could happen. I think there's a very high chance, and as we know, 2008 was the last major financial crisis, and that had to do with the bailouts of banks. And what's being redone right now is the whole financial system is going to be revamped, right? We haven't really seen the financial system shift since the advent of gold coins, right? So if the whole financial system is changing, and that's what I think a lot of has to do with crypto, why crypto was created. It's not a coincidence that crypto was created in 2009, a year after the financial crisis, right? And if the 2008 financial crisis was basically the demise of all the big banks, then we could potentially see the next event happen where banks actually do fail, right? And this is sort of the writing on the wall, and that's going to be good for crypto because crypto will likely be used as the remedy, the solution, right? We know there's going to be a liquidity problem. We know that it's hard to transfer money right now. It takes, if you want to send money to the Philippines or across the globe, it takes about a week, and it's very expensive to do so. Crypto will allow them to do it in seconds, settle in seconds, and it'll also be a fraction of the penny, right? And then eventually all stocks are going to be on the blockchain as well. So as we know, when you go to sell stocks at the end of the year, there's a 3-day settlement period. So you have to sell it 3 days before that end date because it takes 3 days for it to settle on your broker in the back end, right? And clearing houses and things like that. But pretty soon, when it's on the blockchain, it'll settle in like 3 seconds if they utilize a technology like the XRP ledger to settle and finalize those transactions. So we could potentially see the S&P 500 tokenized on the blockchain. And not only would that create faster settlement, that would also create the ability to trade these assets 24/7, 365, right? Even on Christmas, holidays, the markets would be open 365, just like crypto is, right? And I think that's where we're going. So I think it's a necessary step, unfortunately. And we're probably going to see a lot more companies go bankrupt. That's something that I track in the Power Group community as well. We see some regular reports of bankruptcies per country, and it is going up. So I think that's going to be a common theme into 2023 and 2024. And there might even be some bigger players than Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank that go belly up, right? So we have to expect that. But again, that's just adding more confluence to my thesis that we could see 330s, 320s on SPY before we set a temporary bottom and then see a pretty big relief rally, but ultimately trend lower over the next year or two. And then I think crypto, that would bode well for crypto as well, right? If banks start to fail, it's going to create some panic in the market initially, but essentially that's going to, open the opportunity for crypto. Alicia, thanks for your question. Heritage MJ, please. A Canadian company that has somehow been approved to sell medicinal in the U.S. Any idea how they managed this workaround? I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that one. I'm actually not that familiar with them. Not sure. They might have done it through a special purpose vehicle or a joint venture. But yeah, I'll have to look into that. Let's just take a look at it though. So yeah, in terms of the monthly time frame, not a bad entry. You could set, well, it's below 10 cents, so I don't think you'd be able to set a stop loss on this one because it's a penny stock, but not a bad entry. Even if you put $1,000 into this thing, right, you're essentially risking $1,000. The most you can lose is $1,000. And if we go back up to all-time highs, that's about a 20x move, right? So you could turn $1,000 into about $20,000. We are monthly oversold as well, but pretty much just like all MJ at the moment, pretty low liquidity, not a whole lot of volume traded on this thing, even on the weekly time frame. Even on the daily time frame, we're not at a decent amount of volume either. What are we at here today? What did we trade? 149,000 shares. Yeah, 149,000. So just do a quick calculation. 149,000 shares times about 3.5 cents. Yeah, there's only $5,000 traded in this thing today, right? So very, very liquid. So I wouldn't put much more than $500 to $1,000 into this thing. But essentially, just like the rest of MJ, just we're still waiting for that catalyst that's going to lift us out of this rut, right? And that's going to be something like safe banking, in my opinion. But yeah, we're still in monthly downtrend. We confirmed a monthly downtrend back here in late 2019, where we had the high, low, lower, high, lower, low, and then from there, we almost changed the trend here with the low, high, higher, low, and higher, high, but ended up being a bull trap, and then right back into a lower low and another lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So until we change monthly uptrends, we can expect more of the same. So we need that higher low and higher high, but it is looking like that could be coming in soon. Just like the rest of MJ, again, holding up relatively well, given the fact that the S&P 500 dropped about 13% last month. This thing was only down like 23%. Generally, when the S&P 500 is down 10, 13%, we can expect some individual MJ names, especially these lower cap names, to be down like 50, 40% on the month, right? So it does look like we're forming a bit of a base here and looking to, we're still very, very weak though, still in a daily, weekly, and monthly downtrend. Let's take a look, can.ca, right? Yeah. I do have to wrap up here in about 5 minutes or so. Yeah, still, we're bullish here on the MACD and the stochastic, but I want to see a weekly candle close over that 10-week moving average. So if we can close this week over 4 cents, that's going to be a good sign that we could start to see some positive momentum to the upside. In terms of the weekly moving averages, we don't have anything nearby until the 50 weekly there at 5 cents, so that could be an area to target as well for resistance. And then after that, nothing until about 8 cents. And we do have the 200-day moving average there at 4.7 cents. So 5 cents should be strong resistance in the short term, and then really nothing until about 8 cents, and then 10 cents psychological. We are seeing the MACD flip bullish here on the daily time frame and on the weekly time frame. So we're starting to see some signs of hope, but basically just tracking the rest of MJ at the moment. And you wanted to look at, oh, okay, you put the actual ticker there afterwards. So the OTC name, yeah, there's probably a lot more traded on the OTC as well. Yeah, 114,000 shares. So yeah, no, not really, kind of with the same amount of dollar volume. So, but yeah, pretty much the same. Weekly MA12 has been a brick wall of resistance as well. So a close over that weekly candle, or over that yellow line there on this chart, which is US dollars, but that would be at 2.9 cents. So a weekly candle close over 2.9 cents, so 3 cents, let's say, USD, that would be a nice momentum shift. Thanks. Yahoo article today, headline: Heritage MJ begins operations in the US MJ market through relationship with 315 MJ. Yeah, exactly. So it looks like they have a type of special purpose vehicle, more than likely, and joint venture. Yeah. So odd that such a small company in the US. Yeah, I think there's going to be more and more of that as well. You know, the US is the most important market in the world, right? Pretty much in terms of everything. So not surprising that everybody's trying to get a foothold in there, or at least get their foot in the door, right? Yeah, that was something. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't hear that today, but yeah, I'll have to take a look into that a little bit deeper. Hi, Claudio. Do you believe we've almost hit a bottom on the Nasdaq? Well, not really. I think it's going to be similar to the S&P 500. I think we're going to probably set a bottom, at a local bottom, temporary bottom, over the next 3 to 4 weeks, about a week or two before the November 8th elections. And if we take a look at the Nasdaq, so the Nasdaq, let's go here to the monthly time frame. So we are in a monthly downtrend as well in the Nasdaq. We actually did break the monthly downtrend with a break of that lower high pattern. So we could even confirm an uptrend here with a low, high, higher, low, and higher high. We got a ton of room to form a monthly higher low. But yeah, the Nasdaq is looking very bullish, and we know that tech and crypto have been very correlated, and it looks like crypto could be gearing up for a pretty big move into the end of the year, which would be good because the correlation to the tech stocks have been very high. So that could bode well for the Nasdaq here into the end of the year, and that's very evident. The fact that we're no longer in a monthly downtrend, we broke that lower high pattern and lower low pattern, so we're back into a flat trend, and now we're just scouting a monthly higher low compared to the low there at 46.44. So from the lows there, we could still drop another 17% and just be looking for a monthly higher low. But at the moment, it's looking pretty good. You could even make the case for a potential monthly bull flag, but we did pull back a little bit more than the 0.32 fib, so it doesn't look like we're going to see a flag, but it's more than likely going to favor a type of equilibrium and tightening range, and then we get a break based on how much we pulled back. But like I said, I think that we could potentially come back, test EMA 26 because of the fact that we're no longer flagging. Bull flag has been negated. We are holding EMA 12 here on the monthly time frame, but I'm of the thinking that we could potentially come down this month and test that $53 to $50 area on the Nasdaq, and that's where I would anticipate a local bottom being set. We could even see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross here on the weekly time frame, and we did confirm a weekly downtrend with the high, low, lower high, and lower low. So we're now in a weekly downtrend, and we have no support down to 50.35 either. So I do think that $50 is realistic here to be targeting on the Nasdaq before we hit a bottom, but then we would likely see a pretty big move forthcoming after that. Hopefully that helps. All right, gonna wrap it up. I have to be somewhere in about 4 minutes. Kisan, when will we see Hexo at $1? When the whole sector reverses. I can't tell you for sure when it's going to be at $1. Who knows? I would think that sometime before January 25th, before they have to regain compliance with the Nasdaq. I think that's very doable. So I think sometime between now and January 25th is realistic. I do think that they'll regain compliance. So I think over the next few months into January, I think there's a strong probability. So maybe 3 or 4 months, we could see Hexo trading at back around $1. But in my opinion, it's going to be going a lot higher than that. All right, going to end it there. Just as another reminder, I am doing a giveaway, one gold membership valued at $150. Be giving that away on October 10th, so next Monday. All you have to do, 1 week from today, all you have to do is just go here, click on this YouTube. It's a video that I did with Alex Boyer, the interview. Just go on there and comment on that video, and you'll be entered for a chance to win. All right, going to end it there. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. It's Rod with Powell Group. Hope you have a great night. If you could smash the like on the way out, I would appreciate it, and we'll see you again on the next video. Take care.